Okay, let's see. Back to objectivism. I just want to drive this point home one more time, that Leonard Peikoff, who is kind of a disciple of Ayn Rand and is responsible for a whole lot of the material that's been published about objectivism, mentions what is meant by objective reality. He says, people often speak of objective reality. In this usage, which is harmless, objective means independent of consciousness. The actual purpose of the concept, however, is to be found not in metaphysics, but in epistemology. Strictly speaking, existents are not objective, they simply are. It is minds, and specifically conceptual processes, that are objective or non-objective. That seems ass backwards to me. What he's saying is, and this is in his book titled Objectivism, is that reality isn't, I mean, you know, the external world isn't necessarily objective, but...
No. He's saying the external world does not have a consciousness, but you do.
But minds are. And that makes no sense.
Well, I think he's using language. I agree that it doesn't make any sense, the second part.
Yeah.
But when he says, strictly speaking, existents are not objective, I think he's saying, now we're getting back to word usage, I think he's saying that they're not objective in the sense that they're talking about. When he says they simply are, then, you know, that goes back to the A is A thing.
Yeah, right.
Score 1 for Matt.
Which we would agree with. A is definitely A.
A certainly is A. I have no complaint about that.
A is not A-OK. It's just A.
So, I mean, to go with a theme here, one of my central objectives, one of my central objections to objectivism is the treatment of, is the sort of declaration that everything should be objective. That not only is the physical world objective, but there are values which everybody must have, and there are no real subjective values. If there are, then it's basically the result of bad thinking that's not in line with objectivism.
Values have a hierarchy. They are derived from your value system, which comes from your view of life. It's not hard to understand, and I'm surprised you're even disagreeing with it. A subjective value would be one that has no impact on your life, like liking chocolate over vanilla. That in your hierarchy of values is pretty low on the scale, don't you think? However, if your hierarchy of values suggests that you can survive on rat poison, evading reality, then, you know, there's going to be a problem. So your hierarchy of values has to be in line with reality, what you require to live as a human being. That's what he's talking about. But you didn't, you know, do much research into this, so, which is sad because you're missing an awful lot. A lot of this is really in line with how particularly Matt thinks. Not Russell so much, he's mixed up, but Matt has very little quarrel with any of this. He just doesn't know it.
Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit into Ayn Rand's books. Anthem is not one of her more famous books. The most famous ones are The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged.
And The Virtue of Selfishness, Philosophy, Who Needs It, Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal. Yeah, you know, Virtue of Selfishness. It's really small. It's as small as Anthem. And it's probably just as popular as Atlas Shrugged. But, again, you avoided the nonfiction and opted for the massive fiction. It's okay, though.
The Fountainhead is about a brilliant architect named Howard Rourke. This is going to be the super-duper compressed summary of the book. Howard Rourke is a genius who is unrecognized by all these people, except for the very, very small number of really smart people in the world. He has this sort of guy who leeches off of his brilliance named Peter Keating, who he helps out occasionally by designing something, and then Peter Keating weasels and takes the credit for it.
Wait, does he get popular and put out an album that people then call too commercial?
What?
He's sold out? Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Who, Peter Keating or Howard Rourke, the brilliant
Rourke, the
no,
unrecognized genius.
Howard Rourke stays true to his ideals right through the end, where he delivers this long speech in front of a courtroom where he's accused of blowing up one of his own buildings to make a statement. And they just let him talk, which is kind of a theme in Ayn Rand, that at the end, the brilliant noble hero has to be able to talk for a long time uninterrupted and serve as a mouthpiece for the author.
By all means, ignore what's said and wander into the irrelevancy of length or occurrence. Russell's the reason I stopped watching the show. He's such a snarky asshole. I'm going to find a quote that absolutely depicts Russell to a T, and he's just a jerk.
Meanwhile, there's this interesting villain in Ayn Rand's book named Ellsworth Toohey, who kind of exemplifies everything that's wrong in the Ayn Rand universe, which is, well, earlier I mentioned that one of her fundamental principles is that man must not sacrifice himself to other people. In fact, if I can skip ahead to Atlas Shrugged for just a second, one of the characters in Atlas Shrugged swears the following oath: "I swear by my life and my love of it that I will never live for the sake of another human being or ask another human being to live for mine." In fact, she even has a cute little name which pops up repeatedly in her work. She calls those people second-handers. This is a very bad insult if you're talking to a Rand person. I really want to get through the fiction section of this, so I'm going to get to the book I brought in substitute of the Bible today, Atlas Shrugged.
Russell Glasser, master of equivocation.
And Atlas Shrugged, I'm also going to do a super compressed summary of. Basically,
good, because that's a long-ass book.
It is a long book. By the way, Atlas Shrugged is now being made into a movie with Angelina Jolie in the starring role as Dagny Taggart. Okay, so I'm sorry, but if you haven't read this book when it's been out for like 60 years, too bad, you're getting spoilers. It's, as one site put it, about 10 minutes in the future of when Ayn Rand was writing. So it's sort of a bleak near-future world where the world is completely run by stupid people.
Like Hugo Chavez, that nut in Iran, Kim Jong-il. They're stupid. Stupid, right? They're not evil. They're just stupid. The king of equivocation strikes again.
I mean, that's pretty much the way to sum it up. There are a very small number of brilliant, noble people left in the world, one of them being Angelina Jolie, who is also hot. But then we've also got...
And an atheist.
Oh, yeah, right. Then we've got this mysterious figure known as John Galt, who's spoken as sort of a catchphrase throughout the book. And we've got some other people like Hank Rearden. They're all brilliant inventors and businessmen and people who get shit done. Oh, excuse me. I guess we can say that now, but okay. They're the kind of people who get stuff done, and there's all these second-handers in the book who want to leech off their ideas and you know, get the benefit of them without working. And then what happens is, here's the spoilers, John Galt runs away from society and basically takes all his cool toys with him, founds this hidden society in the middle of nowhere, and then starts convincing all the geniuses in the world to run away with him and go basically do what I said before, which is create an experimental version of a libertarian utopia. All the smart people in the world run away, and they make their own little society, and the world gets to be in worse and worse shape. But that's okay, because they all deserve it, because the vast, vast, vast majority of the world are stupid.
More equivocation. Stupid or evil? Russell's never heard of a brain drain. He doesn't understand the history of a brain drain, or the reality of a brain drain, and how they occur in evil cultures, not stupid ones. Evil. Bernie Madoff was not a stupid man. Hugo Chavez is not a stupid man. These are smart people. And to equivocate smart with stupid or evil with stupid is plain dishonest and blurs the point, but Russell's an expert at blurring the point or just not grasping it, which is amazing because it's so plain. He had his mind made up in the beginning. You know, he wasn't open to it. He never even talked to an objectivist. I'm sure he doesn't even know any. So, I mean, if he wants to use libertarians as objectivists, which is a huge mistake, they are not the same thing. Yeah, I'm an objectivist, and I would fight tooth and nail to prove to you that they are not objectivists. They just aren't. Lots of people who are not objectivists enjoy many of Rand's ideas, particularly her political and economic views. Christians, Jews, it's spreading like objectivism proper is spreading like wildfire in India. Conservatives, Rush Limbaugh uses her ideas almost every day. But these are not objectivists. These are people who merely have adopted a few of her key ideas. But that doesn't make them objectivists.
This promotion of oligarchical ideas where the intelligent are the ones who rule, or these separatist societies where we've taken all the geniuses off, having not read Atlas Shrugged, and I have no idea how John Galt's little experiment worked out.
Oh, of course,
I'm wondering,
he took over the world.
I'm wondering who was doing the cooking and cleaning and the manufacturing, the policing, who was doing the daily things that these geniuses and super intellects.
I hope by now Matt has read the book. The cleaning and it's just irrelevant, but you get an idea in a character called Eddie Willers, and there are characters in the Valley who didn't have anything. They just wanted to be left alone and not enslaved by their evil government.